Here comes the rain. Dude, this is ice. This is sleet. It's sleeting in the middle of May. What the f? What's going on, everyone? My name is Talon Sai and you are watching Sunday GUNDAY. I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday so far. Today we have a viewer's choice video, which doesn't happen very often. If you caught my pistol caliber carbine showdown video from a few weeks back, you can check it out right there. I mentioned in that video that whoever got the top comment, I would pick that gun and it would get a dedicated review here on Sunday GUNDAY. Now, there was a lot of feedback on that video and a lot of people wanted to see their preferred platform. However, there could only be one winner. The top comment was this right here. So I thought the MPX won. However, woolly mammoth, bigger than an elephant. So the woolly mammoth in the room was a crowd favorite, the Ruger PC Charger. So let's take a look at it. Much like the larger PC carbine counterpart, this pistol version, dubbed the Ruger PC Charger, features an aluminum receiver set, very reminiscent of the Ruger 1022, and that is nestled down inside a glass-reinforced polymer chassis. The Charger uses a blowback operation featuring Ruger's dead blow action that supposedly shortens the bolt travel and reduces felt recoil and muzzle rise. This is chambered in 9mm and the 6.5-inch barrel is threaded to accept muzzle devices or silencers. You have the choice of using the included 17-round Ruger mag, or if you're a normal person, you will utilize the extra pieces to make the Charger Glock mag compatible. Big pro right there. The whole barrel, included UTG hand stop and M-LOK compatible forend, has the same takedown functionality as some of the Takedown 22 models. So with the bolt lock to the rear, you can simply dismantle this gun, cutting down the overall size. On the rear, you will find a pick rail section giving you the option to mount any kind of accessories that you see fit. I immediately opted to install a Thorson tube adapter and a tailhook brace, which we will talk about more in a second. Speaking of add-ons, on top I have mounted up one of the new Holosun 507s that you may have seen on my Uzi in the past. And this little package, excluding the brace, adapter, and optic, comes in with an MSRP of $799. So we're right about in the middle ground when comparing this gun to other guns in the small PCC-esque category. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If it wasn't for you all voting for the Ruger PC Charger, I would not have bought this gun. Just looking at the initial aesthetics of it, minus the optic and the added brace on here, I think the gun is kinda ugly, not gonna lie. Out of the box, this thing comes in pretty heavy already. The first thing I noticed when picking it up, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is like a lead weight. I knew that there was no way I was gonna shoot this thing without a brace and adapter on here, so I of course had to add this, and this makes it a little bit more manageable. That all being said though, I do wanna shoot this thing. Move the charging handle to the left side already. It's already kind of weird because it's like a 1022 controls. Magazine release is up here, charging handle over on the side, safety. Let's see how it shoots though. There's the lockback. Alright guys, back for a quick first mag impression on the Ruger PC Charger. I'm gonna admit right now that the shootability of this gun already makes up for the things that I don't really like about this thing. That dead blow system in there seems to be pretty effective. I thought this thing was going to have a lot more recoil, and it is actually very manageable. Now, like I mentioned, I would not want to shoot this thing without the brace on here. Something about holding a gun out like this is just not that comfortable. I guess you could utilize the QD mounts on either side here and put it on a single point sling and sort of use that as your third point of contact. However, I much prefer this right here. So on the back here I have the Thordson adapter, which was about 50 bucks, and then back here the tail hook, another $150. So I'm looking at $200 on top of the $800 platform. You're looking at about $1,000. And then the optic, this is something that is actually necessary because there are no iron sights on this. That's gonna add some more price to the overall platform. That being said though, there are still some good things about this. With the brace on here, it becomes much more ergonomic. I can get a good cheek weld here as a third point of contact. This thing does accept AR style grips, so that is something that you could change out if you wanted to. And that grip is nestled into this glass reinforced polymer frame. Almost everything else about this is very reminiscent of a Ruger 1022, which I personally love. I think I have about 3 of them now. So this entire receiver set is very similar to that. The charging handle is something that you can move. Ruger does include an Allen key in the box, so you simply twist that off and drop it to the other side. Or if you leave it on the right side, you could just sort of run this thing like an AK, but why would anyone want to do that? I know I just pissed off a lot of people with that comment. So as far as the controls go, you have the button safety right here, just like on the 1022. Since this thing does sort of feel like an AR platform now, in between shots there when I'm bringing the gun back down to a low ready, I found myself sort of reaching for a safety on this side, wanting to flip it, but in reality, I have to do that with my trigger finger. For the mag release, you have a button up here, so if you're doing any type of fast magazine changes, you're going to have to come up here, hit that button, strip that mag out before inserting a new one. In my opinion, it doesn't really flow all that well. However, this is not really a gun that I would use for a serious home defense or any kind of self-defense situation for that matter. The trigger on this thing feels almost identical to a 1022, and it's really nice. It may feel a little bit plasticky, but you have a really nice crisp and clean break. And then when you couple that with the dead blow system and the relatively soft recoil pattern, I think I'll be able to shoot this thing really fast and very accurately. The first mag there was shot from about 35 yards and I hit every single shot, so that's a good plus already. Then moving up to the hand stop area here, you really have to be careful about where you're placing your hand with a 6.5-inch barrel. Luckily, this thing does come standard with a UTG hand stop here. That gave me a really good point of index. That way I can just sort of plop my front finger right in front there. I typically use a thumb over grip and this thing feels right at home. Now the one thing that I don't really understand about this gun, as it comes stock, it's already pretty short. They do have a button over here to lock this bolt back, and you need to do that to remove the front end of this gun. Let me actually show you that on camera. Just like the 1022 takedown, you push up on this little lever here, slide it to the left, and you can remove the whole front end of the barrel. Now when you do that, you're just removing like 5 or 6 inches, and the gun's already small to begin with, so to me, what's the point of that? It doesn't really make sense, unless you're utilizing this threaded barrel. So here I will thread on my AAC Tyrant, and I'm gonna be shooting the gun like this for the rest of the video. Now with this exact setup, how I have the gun right now, this makes a whole lot more sense when it comes to the takedown feature. Now the gun size is about cut in half, and this whole thing would be much easier to slip into a bag. When this thing is attached and the brace is fully extended, this is a large gun now. It sort of defeats the whole purpose of having a PC charger pistol like this thing comes. However, I'm going to enjoy shooting this thing much more in this form than I would in its short, stubby, chode-like form. So with all that being said, I'm going to load up some magazines. We're going to be shooting some 147 grain today, and hopefully this thing will be pretty quiet, accurate, and reliable. We'll see. All right, let's see how this thing runs with a silencer now. I do like that side charging handle on there. It's quick and easy. Now hopefully this thing remains accurate. Let's give that a try. I'm gonna shoot this thing on paper quick with some different ammo and see where our zero is at. Looks like we need to come up a few clicks. We were way far off in the beginning, brought it up to the left, and I believe these were our last 2 shots. Here we go now, 50 yards standing. Hopefully that made an improvement. Yeah, I'd say so. Now we're talking. Here comes the rain. Dude, this is ice. This is sleet. It's sleeting in the middle of May. You gotta be kidding me. Really?
20 minutes later.
Alright, well that was fun for the past like 20 minutes. Let's see how this thing runs with a suppressor now. Pretty well. Let's shoot it into the dirt. Ear off. Ooh. Sorry, camera. Man, there's a little bit of port pop, and I'm shooting this with an AAC Tyrant, which is a 45 can. So 147 grain, 9mm through a 45 cal can. That's not too bad. Ooh, there we have a hang up. So that was a failure to feed. Maybe it just doesn't like 147 grain ammo and a can on the end. It's getting pretty dirty shooting this thing with a can, and it doesn't seem to be liking that. But we're gonna keep going. Ooh. That was a failure to eject. Check that one out. Come on now. Man. Alright, back to unsuppressed. This thing is definitely slowing down a lot, so let's just give this a try. Alright guys, back for my final impressions with the Ruger PC Charger. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little disappointed with the performance of this thing. It seemed to be running great. The shootability was really nice, the ergos and everything after you add something like the whole back half of this gun. However, as soon as I suppressed it, this thing got extremely dirty. That of course is to sort of be expected with a blowback style gun like this. However, it of course stopped it from running. So with that aside, I still did enjoy shooting this gun. There are very few guns that I really don't enjoy shooting. The 1022 style trigger on this thing is pretty phenomenal. It's a really good trigger for a gun like this. Out of a lot of different guns in this category, I would put this trigger towards the top. It's really nice. That being said though, it's still kind of a weird gun. You have to get used to the different style controls. Because this thing was not running reliably for me while suppressed, this whole functionality doesn't really make sense now. That was actually really hard to take apart since it's so dirty now. You might be able to see all the gunk and buildup in here, and that's only after like maybe 200 rounds, 250 rounds. So this functionality, it's cool on the 1022 when you have a full-length barrel, but on a package this size, doesn't really make sense to me. So if you're looking for a gun in this form factor, it does take Glock mags, so that's a plus. If you want something that has a good trigger and a side charging handle, coming in initially under $1,000, and you're a Ruger diehard, then I guess a gun like this would be for you. However, just based off of my experience out here today, with this thing stopping up on me like that, it's probably not something that I'm gonna recommend to everyone. If you do really like this gun, I would suggest not running it suppressed because it gets dirty extremely quickly. I would guess that most people are not going to be running this thing suppressed, but it is kind of a bummer that it stopped up on me. Maybe I will take this thing home now and clean it up and then shoot it some more in the future, not suppressed. And then hopefully this thing will be reliable, but I don't know. Just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. So that is all that I had for today. If you guys have any questions on this thing, let me know in the comments down below. Sorry to disappoint for anyone out there who really likes this gun. It's just not for me. Now, if you're new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. That's gonna be all for today. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.